Have you ever asked yourself why so many older people wake up around 3 a.m. and cannot seem to fall back asleep? You may lie in the still darkness, staring at the ceiling, wondering if something is wrong with your body or mind. The truth is, this happens more often than you might expect, and it is not just a random habit or a basic sign of aging. In this video, we are looking into 5 important reasons why older adults often wake up around 3 a.m. and what these early wake-ups could actually be telling you. Each reason points to something deeper happening in your body, your health, and your life experience. And by the end of this video, you might see your sleep issues in a completely different way. These explanations are not surface-level guesses. They are based on actual biology, psychology, and natural aging rhythms that many people do not know about. We will talk about changes in hormones, sleep patterns, health issues, and even emotional or social factors that could be silently affecting you. And we will explain it honestly, clearly, and with full respect for the life you have lived. So if you often wake up around 3 a.m. and wonder why, you are not alone. Keep watching until the end, because what you learn might not just improve your sleep, it could help you better understand what your body is really going through. Let us begin. Number 1. Lower melatonin levels. One of the main reasons many older adults find themselves waking up during the night, especially around 3 a.m., is the natural drop in melatonin levels that comes with aging. Melatonin is the hormone that controls our sleep-wake cycle. It is often called the body's internal clock, and it is essential in helping you both fall asleep and stay asleep. When you were younger, your body likely made a steady, healthy amount of melatonin each night, letting you enjoy long periods of deep and peaceful rest. But as time passes, your body slowly produces less of it, and that drop can really affect how deeply you sleep. You might still fall asleep easily at first, especially after a full day or a quiet evening, but by the early hours, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., sometimes 4 a.m., your melatonin levels may fall too low to keep you sleeping deeply. You might wake up not because of a loud noise or a bad dream, but because your brain is gently starting to return to a more alert state. Wakefulness without enough melatonin to keep you asleep is not something you are doing wrong, and it does not mean your body is breaking down. It simply reflects the natural changes in your body's chemistry that come with aging. On top of that, your sleep environment can make this even worse. Small sources of light, a street lamp outside the window, a blinking alarm clock, or even a hallway light under the door, can lower your melatonin levels even more. As people age, the body becomes more sensitive to these surroundings, making that 3 a.m. awakening feel even more annoying. Take Harold, for example. He is now 72 and always considered himself someone who slept well. But lately, he often finds himself awake at about 3:15 a.m. He is not worried or anxious, just very awake, as if it is time to begin his day. Once he realized this was not something he was doing wrong, but rather a natural part of aging related to melatonin, he stopped being hard on himself and made some changes. Now, he keeps his bedroom completely dark, avoids screens for an hour before going to bed, and takes a short evening walk to help support his natural sleep rhythm. These small adjustments help his body recognize that it is still nighttime. And even though he sometimes still wakes early, he now works with his body instead of fighting it. Understanding this can really change your approach. When you know that waking early might not be your fault but the result of natural chemical changes, you can take practical steps to improve your sleep instead of feeling frustrated. This awareness turns blame into patience and helps you make smarter choices in how you treat yourself at night. Number 2. A shifting sleep cycle and something called advanced sleep phase. Another big reason why older people often wake up around 3 a.m. is because of a natural change in their internal body clock. This is known as the advanced sleep phase. As we get older, our circadian rhythm begins to shift earlier, meaning we start feeling sleepy earlier in the evening and wake up earlier in the morning. You might notice that you start dozing off during late-night TV or waking up at sunrise even on days when you would prefer to sleep in. This change is not just a habit. It is built into how the body works, and it tends to get stronger with age. When we are younger, Our sleep cycle is usually timed for later nights and waking in line with the sun. But as we age, this cycle naturally moves ahead. You may find yourself falling asleep by 9 p.m., or even earlier without planning to. By the time 3 a.m. arrives, your body may feel it has already had enough sleep. That is why you might wake up wide awake in the middle of the night, even though it is still dark outside. This is not a sign that something is wrong. It simply means your sleep schedule has changed over time. Imagine your body's internal clock, gently moving forward year after year. While this shift is not dangerous, it can be frustrating if your current lifestyle, family setup, or personal routines do not match this new rhythm. There is also a more subtle emotional layer to all of this. Many older people live in quieter homes or spend more time alone. That calm environment can make the shift even more noticeable. The body starts sending signals to slow down earlier in the day, when there is less activity or background noise to push bedtime later. Without the usual evening distractions, your system begins shutting down for the night much earlier. And if you are no longer working full-time or keeping a steady daily schedule, the absence of things like meetings, commuting, or regular social events can make this internal shift even more noticeable. Let us consider someone like Charles, who is 68 and retired. He usually has dinner around 5:30 p.m., watches television for an hour, and is in bed by 9 p.m. He falls asleep easily, and by 3 a.m., his body naturally feels ready to wake up. He is not stressed or worried, just wide awake. At first, he assumed it was insomnia, but once he learned about the advanced sleep phase, he realized his sleep pattern was not broken. It had just shifted. Charles made some small changes to help him stay awake a little longer in the evening. He started reading under soft lighting, taking short walks after dinner, and sometimes having a quick chat with his daughter before going to bed. These small social and sensory activities helped push his sleep time slightly later, which brought his wake-up time closer to morning. Outcome? Fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups and a better match between his sleep schedule and his daily routine. This kind of natural sleep cycle change happens to many older people, though it is rarely discussed. Understanding it can take away a lot of the blame or confusion and offer a more supportive way to live in tune with your body, rather than fight it. So, if you are waking up at 3 a.m. and it feels like you already slept enough, it might just mean your body has moved to an earlier rhythm. And once you recognize that, you can start adjusting your habits to better support your overall health. If you are still watching and have found this helpful, please leave a comment with the number 2 to let me know. And if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend doing so and turning on notifications. Your support helps us continue producing content that helps and informs you. Now moving on to number 3, physical discomfort and health-related interruptions. Another regular cause of waking up around 3 a.m. in older adults is the body reacting to physical discomfort or hidden health issues that often show up during the stillness of the night. As we age, we are more likely to face ongoing health problems or mild conditions, and many of these can quietly affect sleep without any major warning signs. These interruptions often come in small ways: a stiff joint, a full bladder, or a sudden sharp feeling in your back. And that is enough to pull you out of deep sleep in the middle of the night. Take arthritis, for instance. Staying in one position too long can become painful. You may not feel the discomfort when you first drift off, but after several hours, the aches can build and gently wake you. For others, nighttime acid reflux may disturb their rest, especially if they had a late dinner or lay down too soon after eating. Even things that seem minor, like dry mouth, muscle stiffness, or a small drop in room temperature, can lead to brief wake-ups in the early morning hours. This is when your body's reactions are more sensitive and less tolerant than they were before. One of the most frequent physical reasons older men wake at 3 a.m. is the need to use the bathroom. As we grow older, the bladder loses some flexibility, and the urge to urinate becomes quicker and more frequent. You may not notice it much during the day when your attention is elsewhere, but in the stillness of 3 a.m., it can be impossible to ignore. And once you get up, even for a short trip to the bathroom, your body might shift from deep sleep to light wakefulness, making it harder to fall back asleep. Another factor is medication. Many older adults take prescriptions daily for blood pressure, heart health, or managing pain. These medicines often bring side effects, like more frequent urination, body temperature changes, or being more sensitive to light or noise, all of which can quietly disturb your sleep. Sometimes you may not even link your medicine to your sleep changes unless someone points it out, or you begin noticing patterns in your routine. Take Eleanor, for example, a 76-year-old woman who always had light sleep. Over the last year, she began waking up regularly at 3:30 a.m. For months, she believed it was just a part of aging, but after speaking with her doctor, she learned that one of her medications was affecting her hydration, which led to more nighttime bathroom visits. With her doctor's advice, she adjusted the time she took her medicine, made a few changes to her daily habits, and now she wakes up less often and can fall back asleep more easily. The key thing to keep in mind is that these physical wake-ups are not a sign of your body breaking down. They actually show that your body is still responding, noticing, and adjusting. These signals can help guide you to take better care of yourself, make smarter decisions, and build more confidence in how your body works. Waking up at 3 a.m. might feel annoying, but it can also be a gentle reminder to check in with yourself and make small tweaks that improve your rest and health. Number 4. Lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm. Another strong but often missed reason older adults find themselves awake at 3 a.m. lies in daily habits built over time. Small routines and lifestyle choices slowly shape your body's inner schedule. Many older adults naturally start eating dinner earlier, relaxing sooner in the evening, and being less physically active during the day. These small adjustments add up and send signals to the body that nighttime is starting earlier. This also means that your wake-up time moves up as well. When your days grow quieter, especially after retirement, your body stops getting the usual outside signals it once depended on. These signals could include driving to work, running errands, or doing mentally or physically engaging activities. Without these, your natural sleep-wake cycle may begin to shift forward. A peaceful evening, with dim lighting and little activity stimulation in the evening can lead your brain to start producing melatonin earlier than expected, which can bring on sleep even before you notice it is only 9 p.m. Once you fall asleep earlier, your body completes its rest cycle earlier too, causing you to wake in the quiet early hours, often close to 3 a.m. There is also a small but meaningful link between when you eat and how well you sleep. While eating dinner early is often a healthy choice, it can sometimes lead to lower blood sugar in the middle of the night, especially if you skip a light bedtime snack. This drop may not feel like hunger, but it can still be enough to wake your body. Likewise, caffeine taken even in the early part of the afternoon can stay in your system longer than you expect, particularly since your metabolism slows with age. This can make your sleep lighter and cause you to wake up more easily from any noise or change. Take Walter, for instance, a 74-year-old man who had just retired. These shifts in his routine happened so slowly that he barely noticed. His days became less busy, and his evenings more laid back. He started eating dinner around 5 p.m., dozing off in his chair while watching the evening news, and heading to bed before 9 p.m. most nights. Without realizing it, his entire sleep schedule had moved earlier. It did not take long before he began waking up around 3 a.m., wondering why he was fully awake before sunrise. After thinking about his habits, Walter made some small changes. He began going for a short walk in the afternoon, reading under brighter light in the evening, and avoided napping after supper. These adjustments helped shift his natural sleep time a little later, allowing him to wake up closer to when he preferred. What is interesting is how often we miss how powerful daily habits can be. Our bodies are tuned to routine. Regular patterns act like messages that tell the brain when it is time to sleep and when it is time to wake up. When those signals fade or change, the body's internal clock can become confused, causing earlier and more broken sleep. But by paying attention to these patterns and gently adjusting them, you can guide your body back toward a rest cycle that feels more complete and less interrupted. If you are still watching and you find this information helpful, type the number 4 in the comments to let me know you are here. And if you are not yet subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you will not miss future videos. Your support helps us keep making valuable content to support and inform you. Now let's move ahead. Number 5. Emotional and mental restlessness. Sometimes waking up at 3 a.m. is not about your body, it is about your thoughts. As we age, the emotional layers that were once hidden beneath the busy routines of daily life can begin to come to the surface, especially in the quiet hours of the night. These early hours, when everything is still and there are few distractions, can become the time when buried worries, unresolved thoughts, or deep emotions begin to come forward. You may find yourself wide awake, not because of any outside noise or pain, but because your mind is going over memories, questions, or subtle concerns you had not fully processed. This type of restlessness is not like the strong anxiety people may experience in their younger years. It feels more gentle, more inward. It may come as a soft background feeling, a quiet sense that something is unsettled even if you cannot clearly describe it. When the mind is not focused on anything specific, it often turns back to past relationships, earlier choices, personal losses, or words that were never spoken. And because the body is no longer busy moving from task to task, there is more room for those thoughts to grow louder. It is also important to see how loneliness can have an effect. As people grow older, their social circles often get smaller. Children move far away. Friends become occupied and everyday routines start to shift. The daytime might still be active and full of light, but nighttime brings silence, and with it, a stronger sense of emotional distance. This kind of loneliness does not always feel heavy. Sometimes it simply shows up as a quiet wish to connect, or a soft need to talk to someone in the stillness of the night. Think about someone like Gloria, who is 80 years old and has been widowed. During the day, she stays busy in her garden, makes calls to her grandchildren, and watches her favorite programs. But around 3 a.m., she often wakes up, and her thoughts return to memories of her late husband or the quiet concerns she pushes aside during the day. At first, Gloria believed something was wrong with her sleep, but over time she realized her early waking was not truly about sleep. It was her heart asking to be acknowledged. To care for herself, Gloria began keeping a small notebook next to her bed. When she wakes, she sometimes writes down whatever is on her mind. It is not anything formal, just a few simple, honest notes. She also added a calming nighttime habit like listening to gentle music or writing a short message to someone she cares about. These small ways of reflecting and connecting gave her emotions a place to go, helped settle her mind, and made it easier for her to fall back asleep peacefully. The truth is, the human heart does not work on a fixed schedule. It remembers what it needs to, asks questions that matter, and sometimes does all of that around 3 a.m. when everything else is still. But that is not a weakness. It is a sign of depth. If you find yourself awake and thoughtful in the early morning, it could mean you are holding on to wisdom that wants to be heard. You have lived through happiness and sadness, and those experiences shape more than just memories. They shape who you are. Instead of seeing these wake-ups as a problem, try looking at them with openness and care. What is your mind trying to tell you? What part of you needs to speak? What area of your heart might need a bit of understanding even in the quiet hours? Sometimes the most meaningful kind of rest does not come from pushing away these moments, but from accepting them. And when you do, you may not only sleep better, you may also learn something deeper about yourself in this stage of life. Final thoughts. As we come to the end of this video, take a calm moment to think about what you have just heard. What stood out most to you? Was it the change in your internal rhythm, the subtle shifts in your health, or something more emotional, something that only becomes clear when the world goes quiet? Each of these 5 reasons gives a new way to look at why you might be waking up so early. And none of them suggest anything is broken. In fact, they show how your body and mind are still active, still adjusting as you go through this phase of life. There is quiet strength in learning what your body is trying to communicate, especially in those calm early hours before sunrise. Instead of viewing your 3 a.m. wake-ups as a problem, you might start to see them as quiet messages, gentle signs encouraging you to pay more attention to your needs, your daily patterns, and your emotions. You are not going through this alone, and you are definitely not the only one looking for clarity. But with better understanding comes confidence, and with confidence comes the ability to make simple, meaningful changes that lead to improved rest, more comfort, and a stronger connection with your personal rhythm. If anything we discussed today felt familiar to you, remember, you're not just getting older, you are growing. And with that growth comes the chance to rest with more purpose. Treat yourself with greater care, and welcome each new day with a bit more clarity and calm. Thank you for being with us today. We would love to hear your thoughts. Please leave. Comment below and tell us one thing you learned and how you want to apply it in your own life. Your feedback matters to us, so feel free to share. Reading your comments truly motivates and inspires us. If this video helped you or gave you something to think about, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support allows us to keep making content that informs and supports you. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again in our next video.